For the longest time, one of my bucket list guns, something I've really wanted, was an M1 Garand, also pronounced Garand. And this particular firearm is something that I grew up with. Basically, when I watched movies, TVs, and stuff as a kid growing up, I was seeing M1 Garands. And guess what? Yep, it was the Duke who, just like the 1894 Winchester, made this rifle even more iconic, carrying it in movies such as Sands of Iwo Jima and things like that. This was invented by a Canadian named John Garand in the 30s and developed, and this quickly became one of the most important battle implements ever devised, and that's also according to General George S. Patton. A big game changer, definitely, without a doubt, and it's still iconic in a lot of ways, and you see it in movies today.
Get off of my lawn. We've certainly seen that scene, the iconic Clint Eastwood scene from Gran Torino. Of course, Clint has a Korean era M1 that he keeps, and it's not a light rifle. I'm going to tell you that right now, and there's advantages to that. Certainly the fact that shooting 30-06, which can be a bit of a shoulder buster, not an issue with this at all. I'm not a guy that is a big recoil concerned guy. I've seen people put butt pads and different things on this. I don't see a need for that at all. The weight of this rifle, which is, basically a 10-pound rifle, pushing 11 pounds fully loaded. But the weight of this rifle, as well as the gas operating system, it just basically absorbs a lot of that recoil. But, hey, 1955 and smooth as butter. Just like that. Just like that. That's just a wonderful noise, isn't it? Isn't that? And, you just pop that end block in there. You get your thumb out of the way when it's fully depressed. You don't have to worry about getting the M1 thumb or Garand thumb, which some people call it, which is basically not using your head and letting an action slam shut on your thumb. But it's definitely something that's preventable. Definitely something that's preventable. So very interesting firearm. There's no question about it. Like I said, this has been big on my list for a long time. I just didn't want to get one that had the replacement barrel, which there's nothing wrong with that. But I wanted something that was as original as possible, barrel matching receiver, which I'm pretty sure this is. They're both from 1955. And something that had a lot of life on it. Like I said, this one has what looks to be all of the life on the throat and the muzzle. And as we see from the shooting results, that appears to be the case. So anybody's gonna put wear and tear on this dog, it's gonna be DR Drake. But going to talk about this more, show you some shooting results, and we'll do some wrap up. If you really think about it, what it did was bridge the past to the future. The past being the history and the tradition of the United States military using a sharpshooting type rifle, going back to the days of the Kentucky rifle, all the way up through the Springfield 1903 rifle that was used in World War I and even early World War II. Well, today we've got higher capacity single semi-automatic or 3-round burst type of firearm. Well, in between was this guy right here, something that has accuracy or can have accuracy that it could be good enough to be a sniper rifle. Not as good as a bolt gun, but it can get close in terms of grouping. But something that could also turn your average soldier into a much more lethal force on the battlefield, because now you got in a rifle company, you got a number of guys that are able to lay down a pretty quick volume of fire. And that's pretty overwhelming when the majority of the forces we saw in World War II were either Japanese or Germans, with the majority of those guys shooting the Mauser K98, which was a bolt action. It held 5 and it took what it took to reload. So this had superior speed of fire, similar accuracy, certainly under battlefield conditions, and much faster reload. So George S. Patton called this the most important battlefield implement of the United States Army, and I can see why he did.
I mentioned that the serial number dates this rifle from Springfield Armory at 1955. Here you can also see from the barrel markings that this barrel was produced in 1955. The rest of these parts all looking very much on the newish side. Also show to be Springfield Armory with numberings which indicate that they're period correct, leading me to believe that this rifle was not rebuilt on the inside. Here you can see the proof acceptance stamp from the United States government. This did not go overseas. This was a U.S. only guy. So just going to show you a few things. This is a correct leather sling, and you can see that it has a really strange pattern for how you sling this. And it's a specific military kind of thing. You can also see with this one that even though we've got a lot or all original parts to the original date of manufacture, which is 1955, I don't know where this stock came from. I don't know if it's original. I know that this front handguard isn't, and if you think it's a different color than the rest now, you should have seen it before I did some work on it. You can also see that this thing's been through some rough handling. The stock has. It's got pretty good sized gash there, and I don't know how well you can see underneath here where I had to do some work on those dings as well. And I've thought since I picked this up about getting a newer stock and having this thing look all perfect. And for right now, we're going to go with this is my rifle. There are many like it, but this one is mine kind of philosophy. But you know, as I kind of started out with, it shoots these end blocks, which is the name of this type of clip. You load 8 at a time. We'll show you shooting this and so forth here in a little bit. But got a whole can of these. And this particular ammo, 280 cartridges. This just has some really cool features. Love this rear sight aperture. It's real simple. You dial it for windage and elevation. And you come down here and see, you can see that right there, that adjusts very easily. And same with your elevation. Now you have seen me review this Mini 14 from Ruger. You will see a lot of similarities, especially in the way the bolt operates. It's almost identical. Side charging handle, bolt rotates as you pull it back through a cam. And that was borrowed heavily by Mr. Bill Ruger. Obviously this one is called the Mini 14 because like the M14, it has a detachable box magazine. But basically, from a bolt system, operating system, everything is a miniaturized version of what you see with this M1 Garand. And it is pronounced Garand, not Garand. I'll say it both ways probably. But you'll see some really neat stuff, such as the compartment for cleaning kit. And I don't have the cleaning kit with that. I am going to most definitely get a bayonet. Because, yeah. But it's just a work of art, really, in a lot of ways. And like I said, we've got some shooting that we'll show you later in this video. Just about as smooth a shooter rifle as you can expect. And I will say this, it is a much more accurate rifle than the Mini 14. The Mini 14 is, it is what it is. It's not an M1 Garand. It's not built as well. It's not as heavy. It doesn't shoot as accurate around. But having said all that, it's a sweet little gun, and I like it. And got nothing but nice things to say about it. This guy right here, ooh, she's a beauty.
You know, like they say, this is my rifle. There are many like it, but this one is mine.
So here's going to be our first shots. We're loading it for the first time with an 8-round clip. And as you can see, I'm getting my thumb out of there. And we're going to take our first shots. And the first thing I noticed right off the bat for a 30-06 rifle, very little felt recoil. Most of the 30-06s that I've ever shot have been out of a bolt gun. So a little bit different scenario.
Here comes the good part.
Here's my favorite part here at the end. You're going to see that clip come flying out. Make a nice ping. So now time to get a little bit more serious about shooting. I wasn't using sandbags or anything like that today, just seated freehand kind of scenario. And after making some sight adjustments, which are just, I'm so impressed with the sights on this, just the simplicity, the functionality, the ease of adjustment, and my eyes really love that long sight radius. And here we are standing up. You're going to see me taking a little bit of time getting this next stripper clip in, and it's just a matter of being used to loading this thing. But again, standing, you're going to see in a minute some targets, the difference between standing freehand and seated resting, more of a taking my time venture. But the barrel on this rifle is phenomenal. It's very brand newish. I don't think this rifle's been shot much at all, and I picked a winner.
I took a couple 4-shot groups. One was just free and easy, elbows on a table. This one was, I actually popped it on some sandbags, see how good we can do. That's 4 bullets, all touching at 50. And this is a standing group where not supported or anything, and you can say, well, standing group, I only see 6 bullets. Yeah, that's because 2 of them didn't hit the paper because I was working on this lower target and so forth. So I've got some work I need to do with that, but obviously if you can get that kind of pattern, it's a darn good barrel. And anything that deviates from that too much is more of an issue of the shooter.
So I want to thank you once again for tuning in today. Love showing you this classic rifle. I have a feeling you're going to be seeing more of it. As always, I appreciate you watching. I salute you. Thanks for tuning in. This is Dr. Drake 63 with America's Rifle, at least one of America's rifles.